Hey folks, Ray from Rainmaker.com here. Today I've got a pretty cool little tip for you, actually 3 tips in fact, to go ahead and save your GoPro when you lose it. Now it's important that all 3 of these tips are done within the first 8 hours of you losing your GoPro. So what happened was last weekend, actually I think it was the weekend before, I was up mountain biking on the top of those mountains up there, like literally at the very, very top, and the mountain bike trail ended and I went to hike the other 100 meters or so to the top. And it's at that point, as I was coming back down again, that my GoPro fell out of my back jersey pocket. And I didn't realize it until I got down back to my bike again. So I had this span of 100 or so meters to try to find my GoPro in heavy brush. You can see a picture of what it looked like right there. And of course I didn't hear when it dropped. Like most people, you don't really know when you've lost your GoPro. And so I'm going to talk about what I did later on, but I'm going to give you kind of 3 ways to find it, starting with the easiest, and then we'll get to kind of the more like creative, complex way, but you may have to pull it out of your bag depending on what's going on. Oh, and before we get too far into this video, if you're finding this interesting or helpful, go ahead and whack that like button at the bottom there. It really helps the channel quite a bit, or share it with your friends, whatever you want to do. So the easiest way is to use the GoPro's Lost GoPro option in the GoPro app itself. That does require that you have your phone and your GoPro, and they are both paired ahead of time. So what you do is you simply tap on your GoPro here. You go into the GoPro settings right there, and then you find the GoPro that you want. So you see that little blue icon next to the GoPro. That means it's within Bluetooth Smart Range. Doesn't actually mean Wi-Fi is enabled yet. So in this case, you simply tap the camera button there, and it's going to go ahead and connect to the GoPro like it normally would, just like you're downloading pictures or you want to preview video or anything like that. That same thing happens right there. You can see the GoPro just turned on. It asked me to want to join my GoPro. Yep, go ahead and do that. And then it'll go ahead and it'll show me what's going on the GoPro. Now, of course, that works well because I'm right here, right? It's obviously within range of it, no problems at all. But pretend this is in the bush over there or something. Then I click the settings icon down at the bottom right-hand corner there, and I choose where it says locate camera. I simply tap that, and you'll hear right away, this starts beeping. It's as simple as that. It goes ahead and it starts beeping. Now, there are a couple catches here. 1, you had to make sure that 1, you're within Bluetooth range, and 2, you're within Wi-Fi range. That might not always happen. Generally speaking, what I found with the GoPro is if it's clear, like open here, you've got about 100 feet, maybe 150 feet, so maybe 30 to 50 meters or so of range for Bluetooth, and then Wi-Fi tends to be a little better than that. Again, things will vary. If you have more stuff in the way, not so much. The cool thing though is you have 8 hours to make that happen, and the reason is that even when you turn off your GoPro, Bluetooth Smart on it stays on for 8 hours after that point in time. Wi-Fi actually stays on for 2 hours automatically, but you don't really care about Wi-Fi because Bluetooth will turn on Wi-Fi for you. So in this scenario here, I go ahead and I just find the beeping and I try to hear the camera. Now right now it's pretty windy out here, so I'm not going to hear the beeping very far away. But for most people, like if I'm mountain biking or running or something like that, I'm going to know the trail that I'm on, so I can eventually backtrack my way through that. Now I'm going to talk about what I did up there. In my case, I couldn't actually get to that screen where it would show me the preview there. I basically got to that main GoPro screen right here. And so you can see the blue icon is there, but I couldn't actually get it to connect. I would try to click the connect button, it wouldn't happen. So I just kept on going up the trail, and every 10 seconds or so, I'd click that connect button to try to connect to Wi-Fi. And once it's within range of Wi-Fi, it would go ahead and connect to it. So in that scenario, what you're looking for is for that blue icon to light up. And so at the very beginning of my search for my GoPro, the blue icon wasn't there at all. And I just knew I had to walk up the trail until I eventually found the blue icon, and then hit that button a bunch of times until I eventually got it to connect to Wi-Fi. So there, once you've got that, you can turn on the beeping sound. You can also even use the photo option as well, which is actually what I did. I just pressed the camera button a bunch of times and eventually got close enough that one of my buddies reached off the trail about a meter or so, 3 feet or so off the trail into a bush. I never would have found it otherwise without this. Grab the GoPro and good to go. But what happens if you don't have the GoPro app on your phone? Or what happens if, for example, you want to have like 3 of your friends all look for the GoPro? Well, there's an interesting little tidbit here. What you can use is one of the various Bluetooth Smart sniffer apps. What those apps allow you to do is to locate any Bluetooth smart device out there. So in my case, I'm using one called Light Blue Explorer. It's one of the Bluetooth tools that almost every developer that develops on Bluetooth Smart will use. It's a free tool. I'll put a link down in the description there. You just grab it from the App Store, and it allows me to see all the things around me. So you can see right now the 2 strongest things from a Bluetooth standpoint in the top of the list are the GoPro, this one right here, and the Garmin Fenix 5 Plus that I have right here on my wrist. cheapest. So you can see both those listed there. And then you even see the girl, my wife's Phoenix 5 Plus. She's about 3 meters away from me, listed there. You can see the D500, my DSLR camera, listed there. And then just some other random stuff there. So unnamed things that don't have names on them, just floating around this entire area. Now the way it works is that the signal strength that you see there, negative 52, that means it's super strong. It's right here. If I were to go ahead and go further away, that signal strength would get less strong. And so you can kind of use this as a way to figure out where you are. What's cool about this is this allows you to put it on multiple people's phones. So you can have all your buddies start looking for it, just download the app, it's super small, and go off and look for it. And then once they get to the point where they've got the signal, they can see the GoPro, then the person with the GoPro pairing can go ahead and find it and get closer. In this case, it's not going to beep, but if I were to click on that GoPro there, it will actually turn this on, which is kind of cool. So this app has no ability to do that. It will turn on the camera for you, and it will actually beep when it turns on, and it'll show you the battery level. I found that the battery level shown in this Bluetooth Smart app seems to be a bit delayed, so it's not quite the full battery strength, but it gives you a gauge of where things are. So again, there's 3 ways to do it. Number 1 is to use the locate GoPro option. Number 2 is to go ahead and just use that little blue icon on that initial screen until you get close enough to use the locate GoPro option. And number 3 is to use an app like the Light Blue Explorer or something like that to go ahead and find that Bluetooth Smart device. And then from there, either use the GoPro app or just use the signal strength until you get close enough to find it. Hopefully this will save you, or more importantly, your GoPro the next time you happen to misplace it. Obviously, if you're indoors, no big deal. You can just use the GoPro app and find the beeping. But if you're outdoors, it tends to be a little bit trickier to find. If you found this interesting, go ahead and whack that like button at the bottom there or the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Have a good one. So a slightly funny addendum to this video. After I was done shooting the Lost My GoPro video, I actually lost my GoPro. Well, technically I left it there. I know exactly where. I know precisely where my GoPro is. It's in a bush. So I put it in a bush to take some B-roll shots, and now I'm going back and hoping it's still in the bush. It's been about 35-40 minutes since I filmed this, so my guess is it's still in the bush because it's not very obvious, but it's also in like a pretty high trafficked area there along the beach. So we're gonna go see what happens in a moment here. Okay, so here we are at the parking lot. I didn't park it very far from my shot, so it should be like right there. We'll see in a second here. Here's hoping my GoPro is still there. Let's see, is it still in the bush? And GoPro in the bush. Got it. Don't even need my own tips for this one. Anyways, have a good one.